Hi, Heather.
Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for having me. This has been such an amazing, powerful group of women that you've put together. So you're just a magnet, I can tell, for all the people that need to come together that are going to make change.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for saying that. And I am just so honored that you chose to be a part of it. Now, before we get into the questions that I have for you, I want to tell everyone a little bit more about you as your amazing self. Heather Hanson is an award-winning international speaker, best-selling author, and nervous system whisperer who empowers women over 40 to reconnect with their bodies, release what they've been carrying, and step into midlife with peace, purpose, and strength. Her unique approach blends science, soul, and lived experience into transformation. So amazing. So, Heather, I'd love to know from you how you became an expert in this area. What was the catalyst, if any? And share your big why story with us.
Oh, so this has been a lengthy story that's really been, I feel, since my birth, right? I've always felt this call to help people, to help them feel better, nurture them in some way. It's what drove my career into nursing. And when I was working in nursing is when I was really struggling with autoimmunity and being told that there was nothing that could be done. I was just that age, and that was what's going to happen, and you're going to have these symptoms, and we'll put you on these all these medications. And I really didn't want to hear that. And I knew there was another way. And I decided I was going to be a little stubborn and go against the grain of the traditional medical world. And I was going to show them that I was going to do it a different way. And that evolved my career into nutrition. And then it evolved my career into taking a deep dive into the immune system and digestion and absorption and really trying to get to the root cause. But I was always intrigued with the people that weren't getting better. I didn't know at the time that it was actually my journey that I was going on, that I was trying to peel all the layers of the onion for healing for myself, but I was focused on everybody else. And just through the evolution of looking for root cause, right? We have the body that we're working on, and then we have the mind, but we really have the soul as well. And about 2.5 years ago, I was really forced into feeling very uncomfortable on whether I was fulfilling my calling and what I was supposed to do because people were not getting better the way that I thought they should. And I knew it was deeper. And that's what, oh, and it took a, I kind of went kicking and screaming into this next section because I thought I had already just dealt with my past. And I hadn't. Apparently,
I
I
think we're always dealing with it, aren't we?
we
Yes,
are.
yes.
We are. And so I distanced myself and I just kept going, but I was a stuffer. I could handle any stressful situation, stuff the emotions down, and keep going, stuff the emotions down and keep going, stuff the emotions down and keep going until I was pretty much up to here. And I had to do something different. And it sent me into this evolution of diving into mindset and where my mind had gotten programmed with these specific beliefs of not being good enough, things having to be perfect, wasn't pretty enough. And what I was doing is that deep soul search of wanting to help people. I was preventing myself and getting myself in my own way of helping people because I was hiding. I was playing very small on a very small scale. And I was helping those people deeply, but if I was really going to fulfill my life's purpose, I needed to get out bigger. Hence, this is why I'm here, right? Of just really telling people. And so we're not really taught as children how to identify when our thoughts aren't quite true. We just keep believing them throughout the course of time. And so, knowing that and helping me unwind my thought process, there was actually the body piece too, as a lot of my symptoms and a lot of my autoimmunity was tied to trauma, tied to emotions, tied to things that I told myself, tied to things that I stuffed down. And my body kept telling me something else was wrong.
Mm.
I need to do something different. And I did, I did. I took the action. I took the uncomfortable action. You were talking about taking action, right? You can have all the pieces, right? And when you're thinking about money, if you're getting in your own way of making money because you're not getting your message out to people that need it, you're getting in the way. And so this was the layer of just uncovering, of really working on the body, working on unwinding old trauma and emotions, and bringing that spiritual piece in, right? You got the emotions and the spiritual and how the body functions, and then you get to work on the practical when you feel better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. I love that. And it really is true that I think we're not always done with the those voices, or that those beliefs. But the key is, when we have those beliefs, it's important to recognize, the good news is that the beliefs that we inherited as children, because they are, like you said, they are imprinted upon us as children, and they show up in our adult lives, in our behaviors, whether it's money, our personal lives, whatever that might be. But the first step to that is acknowledging it and understanding, and asking, is this really true? And having those tools, like you mentioned, to be able to shift those beliefs, and take the action, the inspired action that we need to take to be able to move forward. Um, so that I love that. So that leads me to my next question. Tell me, how do you help your clients, or what do you help clients with?
Absolutely. So that's been an evolution in time too. And so what I do is I meet the person where they're at, right? So I see people that they're tired, they have fatigue, they feel like they are meant for more, but they don't know how to get to more. They don't even know what that means. They just feel maybe a little bit lost. And when I see somebody, I ask a lot of questions. I want to know, how do they feel in their body? I want to know how they feel in their brain. And then we take all of those things together collectively and then develop a plan on how are we going to get your body working better for you? How do we get you figuring out what you even want out of your life? Because a lot of people think with age, they got to a certain age and maybe they're in menopause and now life might be over, right? Done all my things. And that's not true. We're meant to do it now. And so I give people a space where they feel a connection, where they feel safe, where they have trust, where they have hope, and then they have a plan on how in the world are they going to get to where they want to be. And so as long as someone has the vision of they know they want something different, and we help them visualize something different, and then we allow the body to be at peace with that, and we're restoring function to the body, then you can be whatever you want. You just have to make the determination and be okay being uncomfortable with it. And it's not comfortable to go through it, but it sure does feel a lot better once you're pulled through.
Absolutely. And I love that. I love that, because what I tell my clients is, um, don't let any well-meaning friends or family talk you out of your vision. Um, and, because your vision, the universe gave you that vision for a reason. And so others may not see it, but that's okay. And I love the aspect too that you mentioned about, making sure that the vision is aligned in your body as well. That is such a great perspective on that too, right? So maybe you want to expand on that a little bit more.
Yeah, let's expand on that a little bit more. I think we're taught to figure things out,
Mm,
right? Just figure it out. And we're taught to figure it out in our brains. And unfortunately, our brains do not work without the rest of our body and vice versa. And so there are some of us that really make decisions from their gut, right? It's their intuition. It is that feeling of this feels right or not. And when we spend so much time trying to figure it out in our brain is so confused it doesn't know what to do, right? Because we
mhm.
can't see a clear path. And, if we're going to look at that clear path of knowing, okay, I want to feel like this. This is how I want to feel when I wake up in the morning. This is what I want to do with my career. This is my vision. We drop the resistance around it, right? We're not resisting. and we're taking that action, right? We're just going with it, right? We're not worrying about figuring it out because everything will fall into place if you stop trying to figure it out.
Right. Yeah, because you know the how is not up to us. The
Yep.
what, the vision, that's ours. But the how, we let the universe be open to bringing it to us. And one thing that I learned too is that it's so important not to be so rigid in your attachment to how you want the outcome to look, because that kind of stifles, you know, the universe and what it wants to bring to us. So I just love that. Tell us about your talk. You had two talks
Mhm.
on the summit. So tell us about your two talks and give us, you know, a short description.
Yeah, absolutely. So my two talks, the first one was transforming money blocks with an embodiment, and then the second was money emotions, release, reset, and renew. And these were specifically designed to get people out of their head and into their body, right? Because when we're tight and tense and we just don't feel like we want to feel when we wake up, that prevents us from allowing what needs to happen energetically, right? And we are energetic creatures. We are tied to this earth. There was a full moon last night, and I'm sure a lot of people felt that full moon, right? It affects the tides. It affects all kinds of things. Our bodies are mostly water. Of course, it's going to affect our bodies, right? And these talks were really designed to, in not very much time, just to rewire the brain just a bit, right? Through visualization and recognize where maybe a limiting belief of I'm not good enough gets stuck in our brain and where it actually lives in our body and emotions. And you'll know because the next time something happens and you think I'm not good enough, you feel that thing in your body. And then it prevents you from taking the action that you want to take anyway. And so the talks are really designed to not really talk a lot, of going through a visualization process of releasing and recognizing emotions and visualizing what it would feel if you weren't holding on to that belief that wasn't quite true, and reframing a bit instead. And then on day two was really listening to the body and allowing it to breathe by just specific breaths that are meant to unwind emotions. And I have yet to have one person that hasn't come out of a session like that that didn't feel calmer, have more clarity, just feel a little bit more at peace in their body, right? And so they're meant to just help you decompress. So instead of doing more, really sit back and do less, right? Take it out of the brain and into the body and just allow the breath and the body to work for you.
Beautiful, beautiful. And if you haven't watched Heather's two talks, you want to make sure that you do that. She takes us through two powerful meditations, and I was one of the ones that commented because I went through the meditation process. Calm, peaceful, clarity. And that's isn't that how we want to feel, and we want to operate as entrepreneurs, as CEOs, from a place of clarity, a place of power, a place of calm. So that is awesome. Thank you so much for that. Now, you also have a free gift.
Mhm.
So tell us about your free gift.
I do. And the free gifts is really just prompts to help you get out of your own way, to help releasing and recognizing where are my thought processes around money, right? And if you think you don't have a thought process around money that your unconscious mind is holding on to, you must download this document because it's just little prompts to go, oh, wow, right? Of, who was told as a child, hey, we don't have any money, you can't have that. Or people that are educated, they think they're better than themselves, so you don't need that money, right? There's all these things that we're taught as children that are not true. They're just so not true. And so downloading the journal prompts and just taking your time and picking the ones that resonate with you most will help you unwind where your blocks are and just help you reframe where your money blocks are so that you can really work on that emotional piece around money.
Beautiful, beautiful. And we're not quite done with you yet, but I want to just make sure that you participants know who's coming up next. Our next speaker is going to be Stephanie Oden. And it is just so, it'll be amazing to have that conversation as we continue to build upon the three pillars of money, the spiritual, emotional, and practical. Now, I believe, Heather, that I saw you you have an event coming up. Is that right? Or a retreat coming up? You want to tell us a little bit about that?
So I too is coming up in March of next year. So it's going to
Oh,
take
next
a
year.
bit,
Okay.
yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time. But I will tell you that so Elizabeth Ocean was the first speaker on today. And after I listened to her talk and did a little class with her on the prep session, I signed up for that. So I'm going to be a speaker at that conference as well.
Beautiful. I think it's perfect for you. Perfect. Awesome. Now, go ahead and I'd love to give you the final word. What words of wisdom would you love to share? And actually, as Heather is doing that, please go ahead and tell us what was the biggest takeaway that you've gotten from my conversation with Heather today. So, Heather, or if you've also already downloaded her free gift, go ahead and tell us that in the comments as well. So, Heather, what final words of wisdom would you share with our community?
I think today's final words are going to be this: stop getting in your own way. If there is somewhere that you want to be, it's time to move out of your own way. It's time to walk into the discomfort. It's time to identify what's going on. It's time to be the most energetic, the healthiest, the most peaceful person that you could be at this point in your life. And it's time to look in the next 10 years of this decade and figure out, well, who are you going to be? Because you will never be the old person in the other years of your life. You will only be the one moving forward. So decide who you want to be, take the uncomfortable action because the time is now to do it.
Beautiful. I love that. Stop getting in your own way or get out of your own way. Get out of your own way.
Tell
Um,
myself that so many times while I'm speaking from experience.
I can relate. Thank you so much, Heather. I
Thank you so much.
appreciate you and honored to have you as a legacy speaker on our summit and for sharing and pouring into our community. So thank you so much for being here.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Bye bye.
Bye. Hello, Stephanie.
Hey, hey, how are you? Can you hear me okay?
I can. Loud and clear, my dear.